Good evening, it's March 3rd, 2025, and we're in Studio 1C tonight, and it's my pleasure and honor to be speaking with the World War II hero, Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing tonight, Mr.?
Oh, very good, very good, excellent.
You're looking well in your camel-covered sweater.
What color?
Camel-colored. Camel. Like a light brown. It looks nice on you. So did you have a nice day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we're reading Mr. Jeckovich's book. We're starting all over again on the first chapter. And we're on page 9. Excuse me. We're on page 8. And this chapter is titled Home, No Home. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Yes, it is. It's a gift. Boys and girls, it's a short dance around the sun, so enjoy what you got. Mr. Jeckovich recently said that he thinks he blinked his eye at 20 and now he's 100. Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925. This year, in 2025, Mr. Jeckovich will be 100 years old. He's knocking on the door of 100. The door is knocking. The door is knocking.
That's the pearly gates.
We weren't talking about the pearly gates. We're talking about your 100th birthday when you said you're going to parachute. We'll arrange that too.
Parachute.
You thought you said you could go tandem.
Huh?
I thought you said you were going to go tandem with some guy. Hold on to some guy's shoulder.
No, I'll never do that with another guy. Never.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll nix that and we'll think of something more creative. The pearly gates. You've got a great sense of humor, Mr. Jeckovich. Well, I have to open up this laptop to get to your reading. What's your dog tag number? What would your dog tag number be?
42965.
Okay. Is your foot bothering you?
It's frostbite.
Mr. Jeckovich was in the Battle of the Bulge, the coldest winter in the Ardennes forest ever, 30 below most of the time, and the soldiers there simply were not equipped for that weather, right?
Well, not first of all, they started giving us new weather clothes after cold weather was over. They started giving us cold weather clothes.
Yeah, sounds like the military, sounds like the government. What happened to the the warm weather clothes when you were fighting? Where did all that go?
Well, who knows?
Rear echelon?
The black market picked up and sold it.
Yeah. So Mr. Jeckovich, during World War II, he was shot in the shoulder by a sniper, trench foot, frostbite. Frostbite is still bothering him 80 years later. Could you imagine? His foot still has frostbite pain from 80 years later. We've learned a lot of things from World War II. For example, it's still a cold winter in most of the ski slopes throughout the United States. So if you ever get frostbite when you're on the ski slope this year, simply don't run into the clubhouse or the lodge and stand by the fire. That's the worst thing you do. We learned from World War II, if you get frostbite, make a snowball and rub it on the frostbite area, and that'll get the blood circulating again, and you might not have any long-term consequences from it. We've learned so many things from World War II. It's absolutely amazing. 1 second. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Come here for a second.
Yeah.
Just go out there and see what she wants to talk
Okay.
about reading the thing.
All right.
And so we learned a lot of things from World War II that we still use today. Interesting enough, some things we don't want to have from World War II we have. For example, next time you go buy a set of brand new tires, look over your receipt. There's still an excise tax on rubber, and that excise tax was implemented in 1992 to raise taxes for the government to support the war. And 80 years later, we still have it. And 80 years later, we still have it. So, we're going to read starting with page 8 of your book, Home and No Home. And then we will take some text questions. You feel up to text questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Text questions. All right, let's start from page 8. By the way, Mr. Jeckovich was, we were interrupted, he was shot up by a sniper in World War II in his shoulder, trench foot, frostbite,
Lost the hip,
beat up and stabbed, and also a dirty bomb blew over his head, which actually decapitated his good friend, Donald Rape. 1 second now. Hello? What's up? I'm in the middle of reading. Is there no emergency? I can call you back. You have what? All right, I'm going to have somebody call you right now. Hold on. Just answer your phone. Would you call up and see what she's doing?
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a recording. I can't
Okay.
get off.
I'm going to call up here.
And so Mr. Jeckovich was beat up, shot, stabbed, lost a hip, shot in the shoulder by a sniper. And we're speaking of the dirty bomb. The dirty bomb blew over his head and took off his great buddy, World War II combat soldier, also Donald Rape, and took his head completely off. Only thing was left was his glasses were hanging on his ears. Mr. Jeckovich removed them and wrote a nice letter of condolences to his mother and father. So Mr. Jeckovich has many decorations, 2 Bronze Stars and Purple Heart from World War II, and many more. But at that time, when Mr. Jeckovich spent 3 months in a Paris hospital, they kind of bandaged you up, and they basically said if your finger is able to squeeze a machine gun trigger, and if you're able to walk, you're what?
Fit for duty.
Fit for duty. They'll send you right back in. They'll send you right back in. Not like today. Not like today. Yeah. So let me read a couple pages of the book titled Their Mother's Sons, and we'll read page 8 and 9 today, and then we'll go to the text messages. You feel up to answering?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Page 8. There were times when I thought I was at fault. Since I was present at most of them, I did not think I instigated them. When I was told to do something, I did it without making a fuss or thinking I was slighted or picked upon. Even though my brothers did not have the workload I had, I never complained to them or my parents. I've always thought that it was like the way it was. After one of the spats between my parents, and especially when they occurred at night before I went to school the next morning, I could not get the incident out of my mind. I did not eat, nor did I want to go to school, and when I went, I could not keep my mind on my studies. I was thinking everyone in the class knew my parents were fighting. Throughout these contentious struggles, my brothers did not perceive or attain the emotional upheaval I felt. Steve would arise in the morning as if nothing happened, displaying a cavalier, disdainful attitude about the entire issue. Lucky, on the other hand, would become despondent and moody and sulk, never saying anything.
And he rather would.
What?
He'd run away.
Run away, yeah. On occasion, he would say something and leave derisive and leave the house. My sister, being younger, took it more seriously. She would be greatly upset during the argument, and I would attempt to console her the best way I knew how. The next morning, she would be completely recovered and was brought up in some fashion, and then she'd be upset all over again. The greatest toll taken on my well-being was the aftermath of the fights. It would be the silent treatment of my parents, apart for weeks on end. Life went on in the family group, but under difficult conditions. The normal routine, everyday tasks were heartbreaking to accomplish. My mother would not talk to my father.
She's fine. I'm calling her when you're done.
Anything I need to know?
No, she's just running a little fever, that's all.
The normal routine, everyday tasks.
Can you close those doors?
Okay. The normal routine, everyday tasks were heartbreaking to accomplish. My mother would not talk to my father, and my father would not talk to my mother. They anticipated each other's needs. Get his meals, set out his work clothes, leave out the bills to be paid, set the grocery book on the kitchen cupboard as a signal that she needed grocery money. These were all accomplished with minimum amount of conversation, and most of the time with none at all. Throughout these long drawn-out sieges, Steve was oblivious to it all. He would go along as nothing was amiss, talk to my parents, ask them for assorted items, money for lunch, permission to go out that night, or whatever was on his mind.
Troop 22.
Huh?
Troop 22.
Troop 22.
Forest Scout, yeah.
Okay.
Forest Rattles, yeah.
Okay. Okay. My parents talked to him separately as if there was nothing wrong. I sometimes believe they lived in two different worlds, greatly apart from one another. I envied my brother's complete detachment and wish I could do the same. I wondered why I entangled myself with my parents' problems. After pondering and a great deal of soul-searching, I came to the conclusion that I
Was a dummy.
became involved solely on the behalf that we're a family unit, and I should take an active part in its function no matter what. I could not become detached. These were my parents, and I could not hurt them even if they hurt me many times. I attributed most of it, not all, of my parents' problems to a shortage of readily available funds. For example, today, 100 years later from what we're speaking, 90,000 divorces last year in Florida, and almost every one of them, with maybe a few exceptions, were related to money.
Yeah.
Money. As they mortgaged their home and were making monthly payments, you delivered the monthly payments.
To Belgium, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they did not have much money left over for everyday living expenses. As a consequence, both my parents worked constantly to make ends meet. My father worked at a local plant, and evenings and Saturdays on odd jobs. My mother shifted from one job to another, depending on the available work was. So your parents were very hard-working people.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you like a coffee?
No, no.
Would you like an iced tea?
No, no, Dave, thank you.
Well, here we go again. Where the hell does staff go? This is not a government job. I'm going to tell them, when we're here reading for the short half an hour, they better be here to serve us. They're all gone. Everyone's gone. Do 6 people take a break at one time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's 6 people. One
You work for
time.
the government.
They fucking. I want a damn coffee. But anyways, here we go. Let's be friendly today. It's Monday. Happy Monday. So here we go. Let's forget the coffee. Let's see. My mother shifted from one job to another. What kind of jobs did your mother have?
Well, my mother worked for Kresge's, and then she worked for the, she worked first she worked for the doctor, cleaning the house and taking care of the baby and everything else. And then she did a lot of stuff, cooking for them and everything else.
What about carborundum?
It's okay.
About what?
14. I'm sure.
Oh,
What about what?
carborundum.
Well, then she got it, my father got a job at Carborundum. She was a small wheels inspector.
That's hard on your eyes.
Yeah.
And tell us the story how they had to get your mother to leave.
The what?
Tell us the story how they had to get your mother to leave Carborundum. Because she worked into
Well,
her
the woman
80s.
said, you're older, and I've got young kids at home, and I can't keep my job up because you're taking my job away from me, and we want you to leave.
In her 80s.
Yeah.
God bless her soul. Yeah, what a beautiful lady, working in her 80s. Wow. My brothers and I attained part-time jobs early in our youth while still in school. Steve had various after-school jobs, such as stocking groceries at a local supermarket. Do you remember what the supermarket was called then?
Publix.
Okay. He would also caddy on weekends at the country club.
Yeah.
Was that the Niagara?
Yeah, but he'd hitchhike to it.
He did what?
Hitchhike to it.
Hitchhike to it.
Yeah.
Did you work at the country club?
Huh?
Did you work at the country club?
No.
I'll be damned. He worked as a caddy on weekends at the country club. At various times, I would substitute for him at the supermarket. What did you do at the supermarket?
They said groceries in the aisles. When people used it up, they went downstairs and filled the aisles up.
Stock boy.
Yeah, stock boy. Yeah.
Okay. When he was at a school function or away at a scouting camping trip, was he scouting a lot?
What?
Was he in Boy Scouts a lot?
Oh yeah, Troop 22, Forrest Reynolds. Yeah.
God, how do you remember that? Holy hell. He was not aware of the money situation at home. He didn't know that
He knew, but he didn't care about it.
Didn't give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nor did he. There we go. Nor did he much care. It was immaterial to him whether he worked or not. I believe most of the money that he did earn was probably utilized for his own benefit.
Yeah.
Now, once you got into service, Mr. Jeckovich sent every dime home, right? Every month.
Yeah.
You sent all your money home. Yeah, that's how it was. Let's see. It did not seem to bother him, my parents, that he used his approach. At least he was never confronted with it. Looky had similar jobs to Steve or mine. He had jobs that went beyond the usual time at night that our age group thought reasonable to be out. They were mostly at bowling alleys, sitting pins, working to 2 or 3 a.m., and at various parking garages, parking cars into the early hours in the morning. So he was a pin setter, your other brother.
Yeah.
That's very, very difficult.
I don't know why I picked that job.
There's no such things as pin setters today, but for the younger folk listening today, a pin setter would sit behind the pins, and when a customer threw a ball, you had to rapidly set the pins up again so the customer could send a second ball, and he would roll his ball back down. So you're constantly being barraged by lots of noise, popped in the head by
Up and down.
stray pins, and 20 years after that, we became automatic by Brunswick Bowling Company that made everything automatic, and there's no more pin setters, thank God, because someone could have got killed. You have one kid, 12, 13-year-old kid sitting behind the pins, and he's servicing 3 or 4 different lanes.
Yeah.
You're totally exhausted after that.
Yeah.
Totally exhausted. And how would he park cars? Was he a good driver, parking cars, your brother Loki?
I didn't park.
No, your brother, you said he parked cars.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do that very long.
Consequently, this is talking about Loki now, he would miss much school since he could not get up in the following morning. Yeah, I can understand. working at 2 or 3, setting pins, all the racket in your ears, and all the constant movement? Wow. I remember my mother many times literally throwing water at him. You remember that?
Yeah.
Would your mother get a big pot of water?
Yeah, he had a cup of water thrown on him or something.
And did he get up?
Well, he'd move around and then he finally had to get up.
What did your father do to wake him up?
Well, my father was working.
So he didn't, yeah. Attempting to wake him up. I do not think much of the money he earned went to the family. So he didn't give no money to the family?
No.
My after-school job consisted of substituting for Steve at the supermarket. I did that quite often. A year later, I was an usher at a movie theater in our city. That's interesting. You had a good job. You worked at the Strand and the Cataract Theaters, right?
Yeah.
A couple Greek family brothers owned it, right?
Yeah. Triglycerides.
Wow. This involved working from 6 p.m. until closing, which was usually around 11:30 to midnight. I had that job for 1 year while I was in junior high school. Wow, you must have seen every movie out there.
Yeah, twice.
And what exactly did you do as an usher?
As an usher, you stand there, go down the aisle, find there's empty seats, you flash your flashlight. Well, you flash it twice, you got 2 seats empty here, then they send 2 people down.
What did your uniform look like?
A white shirt, bow tie, black pants with an orange stripe along one, and black shoes.
Do you have any pictures of that?
No.
What was your job on Saturdays?
It was hectic because the kids come in early and they watch the movie and then they piss all over the floor.
Why would they piss all over the
Well,
floor?
they see some horror thing on a movie and they get excited and they couldn't hold their urine.
Wow. You know, that's interesting. I don't think with the kids bombarded with everything on their phones and all these movies, I don't think kids get scared today. They see so much every minute of every day.
Yeah.
Like back then, the kids didn't see much. You know?
7.5.
Didn't see much. Wow. So what did the Greek owner say to you about cleaning it up?
Right.
When the owner tell you you had to clean it
Well,
all?
just like Linus told me, clean the gum off the floor. And when I worked for Kresge's, this guy said, wipe that stuff off of the back and the front.
And so did that happen?
Put a deodorant on it and everything.
Did that happen every Saturday?
Yeah.
Did the kids get thrown out, or were they allowed to stay?
No, they were paying customers. The parents would leave them there for, say, 10 o'clock in the morning, pick them up at 3. We were babysitting them.
You were babysitting. Well, it must have cost less than $1 to get in, right?
Pardon?
It must have cost less than $1 to get in the movies, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you were babysitting them from 10 to 3. I wonder what their parents thought when they got into the car and their pants were all wet. Oh,
Well, the parents were working someplace.
Okay.
Yeah. Mother was probably working someplace. Father was probably working someplace.
yeah. I can recall on Sunday nights how extremely busy and crowded the theater was. People were standing 6 to 10 feet deep.
Right.
Wow. The theaters were so busy.
Oh, yeah, they roped it all up.
And we had to put up rope barriers around the aisles to keep them clear. Large crowds made it uneasy. And the chief usher, Al Rizzo, what kind of guy was Al Rizzo?
Chief, he was a chief usher, yeah.
How was he?
Oh, he was good. He got in the army, but the poor guy got killed.
He got killed, yeah. Sense an uneasiness and tried to help me any way he could. Here we go. This is exactly what you said about him. He was a considerate, kind, and generous. During the war years, he achieved an appointment to Annapolis and went to become a torpedo bomber off a Navy aircraft. Wow, that's quite an accomplishment. Quite an accomplishment. Unfortunately, the war took away his life, and he was never to have a family or a wife. He was stolen everything. Life is not fair. I also remember Sam Rotella. How was Sam Rotella?
Yeah, Rotella he's good at athletics. He's a good football player for the school,
Yeah?
and he thought he was pretty good.
What school?
High school, Niagara Falls High School.
Okay. Let's see what you say about him. I also remember Sam Rotella, who was a lot of fun to be around. He made me feel at ease and forget my home life for a while. After work, 5 or 6 of the ushers working that night would close up the theater and go to the local bakery on 20th Street for hot jelly donuts and coffee. Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
You're not getting in no trouble. 6 young kids going for donuts and coffee. Could you imagine? Wow, that's amazing. What a clean and wholesome lifestyle. We would talk about a while about girls, the wars, and what we're going to do after we came back from the service. Sam became a football coach at the local high school, and upon returning from service and attending college under the GI Bill of Rights, was shot down on one of the islands of the Pacific and was a prisoner of war for several years. I do not know what happened to him after that. Wow. So he was shot down.
Yeah.
Would you have rather went to the Pacific or the European theater?
No, I'm glad I went to Europe. I'm glad I went to Europe.
Minutes?
3.5.
Do you feel like answering any questions?
Go ahead.
Mr. Jeckovich, do you believe in heaven?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich, have you ever received an answer to your prayer? To any of your prayers?
What?
You ever prayed and you ever received an answer?
No.
No? Mr. Jeckovich, what religion were you growing up?
Catholic. We're all Catholic. We're the Holy Roller Church. We went catechism after school.
And your mother?
Scapulas on our necks.
Scapulas, yeah. Your mother prayed the rosaries nightly, knelt down at her bed for your safety during World War II. And with the prayers of your mother for your safety and the prayers of Renee, I believe that was the only reason why you made it out of the war. Mr. Jeckovich, do you have a philosophy on life?
Well, yeah, everybody got a philosophy on life.
What's your philosophy?
What? Do the best you can when you're asked to do something. Live a clean life. Don't smoke. Don't take drugs or nothing.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich, some of these questions, if you don't want to answer, just say pass.
What?
Any of these questions you don't want to answer, just say pass, because they're coming from all walks of life. They might be important to the person that texted them to me, but maybe not that to you. Mr. Jeckovich, what does Jesus Christ mean to you?
Mean to me?
Yes.
He's the Lord and Savior for our religion.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Minutes, please?
Just under 2.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich, if you suddenly won $1 million at the lottery, what would you do with your money?
What would I do with the money? Well, I'd probably get my mother and father out of the house for around, well, that was when we were on 13th Street. Get them outside the city limits, get a good house for them, warm house for them.
That's a nice answer, I like that. But they had a nice house. They actually, 3063 Orleans Avenue, minutes.
Minute and a half.
Yeah, it was nice for a while, but after we left, it all went to hell.
Well, I understand
They
that.
were all original owners, when they died or sold, the people come in with tenants.
It
And they made a mess of it.
all became rentals.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider moving back into 3063?
No, never.
Why is that?
It's all run down.
The tenants
My apartment's probably a big fat mess.
Yeah.
But when I put that wallpaper up, I wrote all kinds of stuff on the inside before I covered it up. All your names, the dates, and everything else.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was beautiful. Where do you remember putting stuff you hid in that house?
Huh?
You said you hid some things in that house. Where'd you hide
Go
them?
over the transom and the door.
What doors?
30 seconds.
The closet door.
Upstairs or downstairs?
Upstairs.
Hallway?
No, in the closet.
Inside the apartment itself?
Yeah.
And which bedroom?
The bedroom.
Okay. What did you put in there?
15
geez,
seconds.
I put a note in. I wrote a little article in there.
So sometimes it's going to turn up.
It's like a time capsule.
It's a time capsule.
4 seconds.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.